Oh, speaking of yogurt, here's something that I was going to mention earlier for all of the people listening. This is educational. Now, I wouldn't necessarily recommend this, but oh no, actually, no, I would if you feel like it, because to everybody at home, I don't know, I putting all political things aside, you were mentioning could Vermin Supreme get on the ballot? Or no, not get on the ballot, but could, if everybody wrote Vermin Supreme on their ballot, could he become president? And the answer to that is it's complicated.
I thought you were going to say it's a resounding, I don't know.
A resounding maybe. The thing is, here's how the law works. When you have a ballot, there are things that you can do with it. So if you are going to take that ballot and you're just going to write in a candidate, that person is known as a write-in candidate. It is a person who's not on the ballot, but you can write them in.
Like these nuts.
That person will get their vote. Exactly. Now the thing about that is that many candidates, many states have different laws. In a state such as New Hampshire, you are
Can I make a prediction?
Yes, go ahead.
I imagine it has something to do with, like, if you just write in someone's name, it's like, well, which one of those people did you mean? Because multiple people have this name. Or even if only one person has this name, it's like, but how do we know you meant this person exactly, you know? You have to write in their social security number.
Oh, that would be interesting. I'm sure somebody along the lines. How many times per election do you think someone just writes a social security number instead of a candidate? I'd say there's gotta be at least one person.
Now that you say that,
election.
I imagine just out of probability, one person ever probably has done that just because there's been so many people who voted over the years.
I'd say I would be willing to say
like maybe.
I'd be willing to say a maximum 6 people on average do it per election.
Oh, I don't on average. You think every election 6 people write in their social security number?
Yeah, no, I'm not saying that on average. I'm saying that there was one year where it was extremely high, and then the rest of the years, it's been like, maybe one.
It's one of those. What do you call it? It's like an anomaly, or what is that called? Like a statistical anomaly?
It's an anomaly.
I think that's what it's called. I'm probably wrong.
Oh, but here's the thing about writing candidates. So if you're going to have a writing candidate, there are special rules, and it changes for every state. Because if you're going to write Vermin Supreme in one state, then it may not count in that state unless you're following rules. So they
may not. They do not allow it. They may not.
There are 3 types of rules. There are states that always have access to writing candidates. What that means, and I swear to God, I'm not copying Wikipedia right now. What that means is there are states where you can always write in someone on your ballot, and if everybody writes in that person will win that state. Hypothetically, there's usually writing candidates usually get like a very small percentage of the vote because they're not on the ballot now, are they? A write-in candidate, for example, if you're in a state like Oregon, you can take your ballot and you can write Vermin Supreme on there, and if you got the entire state of Oregon to write in Vermin Supreme, then Vermin Supreme would, out of nowhere, win the state of Oregon. It's very unlikely, but it's perfectly legal, and you don't have to do anything with it. You can just be registered, and on election day, you can go to the polls, write in Vermin Supreme, and your vote will count for Vermin Supreme.
What if someone paid them to do it?
Well, it's illegal to pay someone to vote a certain way in any election.
How do they prove it, though?
Usually there's documentation or something. You can't just prove it. But
what if you say, I'm gonna kill you if you don't vote for Vermin Supreme?
You would probably call the police.
But okay, if you didn't call the police, if you just said afterwards, by the way, and not even like to report it as a crime, but just like, by the way, this person said they'd kill me if I didn't vote. Okay, here's my form. Bye.
Well, the thing is, the idea is that your vote, nobody should be able to find your vote. You can't just look online to find everybody's vote. You can't do that if you're not open about it.
There should be an option that if you want to share your vote.
Well, there is, because you can just go on Twitter or Facebook or just tell someone. You can say, "Oh, I voted for Joe Biden."
Yeah, but you can't prove it.
I voted for. You can't prove it, and that's the genius of it. You're not supposed to be able to prove it. There are probably
I guess if you were able to prove it, then you'd be able to guilt people into showing who they voted for, because you'd be like, all right, well, why don't you prove it then?
Exactly.
Why don't you show your results?
Or even just that it would be a violation of your privacy. You have people and you have families. Like, let's say you lived. Let's say a person has a family that is very, very strictly one way, and this one person has a very a very different political view that they won't express. You can just go to the polls. If your family is very pro-Biden, you can vote for Trump. If your family is very pro-Trump, you can vote for Biden, and you can do that with total anonymity. But with write-in ballots, write-in ballots are just another way where you can have total privacy with your vote. The thing about
what if you write in D's nuts and write in and then everyone else you write in is like an actual candidate? Do those get disqualified?
I don't actually know. I would assume that at least would get disqualified. It may
I thought you were an expert on this.
It might change per state. I'm sure that there are some states where writing in something but then just keeping all the others would make your vote not count, and then certain states, if I were to guess, I'd say the states where you can write in a candidate without... Well, that's the thing. There are states where you can write in a candidate, no problem, but there are also, the majority of states have regulations on writing candidates. Like, I can't just go to a polling place in Texas, write in Joe Mama, and Joe Mama will be elected president. That's not how it works. Or Joe Mama will get my vote. If you're going to be a writing candidate...
What if I wanted to vote for my mom, though?
Well, that's the thing.
I said that.
If you want to vote for them, you can. But they have to...
I would wrote in Joe Mama.
You have to have... The first thing that has to happen is that Joe Mama, Joe Mama's...
Wait, what if... What if I wanted to vote? What if I wanted to vote for the person who was handing out the ballots, and so I wrote in Joe Mama, and I meant their mom?
You can do that, but it wouldn't really count if you did it like that. You'd have to say their name, of course. I'm being overly serious for that because I know what you meant. You can do that.
That's a first.
In about, and I believe, in I think 8 states, you are totally allowed to write in whoever you want for any candidacy, or at least the presidency. Just scot-free, and they may win, they may not. No, I don't think any write-in candidate
is eligible.
They
can't be in another country or something.
Exactly, eligible. Well, even still, you can just write in whatever you want, and your vote will be counted mostly.
That's
The thing is, most states
they count it. It just doesn't mean anything.
Yeah. Well, no, it doesn't not mean anything because it's just you can consider
it just shows how many people voted for D's nuts.
Yeah. But the thing is,
D's nuts can't actually win.
But the thing is, that's only in so many states, because in the majority of states there are regulations for write-in candidates. Let's say that Joe's mom.
So you're saying, not to interrupt, but you're saying that more people probably voted for D's nuts than was shown in the last election, and they just didn't report it because of the way certain states do it?
Well, I'm not sure, because the thing about it, I would assume that those votes for Joe Mama were not counted because of this thing. I don't think D's nuts was a write-in candidate for the majority of states. And that's the thing, because in the majority of states you have to have regulations of it. If you are going to be a write-in candidate, you have to call up your local polling place. You have to have a certain amount of signatures. You could say, I have 2,000 people in the state of Texas.
Oh yeah, that's right.
That want to vote for me.
Well, I thought that's just to get on the ballot.
That may be just to get on the ballot, but there are also other places where you for some places that'll get you on the ballot, but for some places, look at Kanye West recently. It was too late for him to get on the ballot, but it was he had just enough time where he could, if he filed the paperwork in time, he could become a write-in candidate, which means you could, if you're someone from Texas, and you want to vote for Kanye West submits 2,000 ballots or so. It's probably
but not Florida, right?
I don't know. Let me just yes, Florida actually. If you're gonna be
I thought there was a thing in Florida where it wasn't gonna work.
Let's leave Kanye out of this and let me just take you down step by step, right? So first thing you do, you have a candidate. The candidate's like, I don't have enough of a base, or I got in too late to be on the ballot, but I know that I have people who are dedicated who will want to vote. So that person gets the required amount of signatures and files the right paperwork, and they become an official write-in candidate. What does that mean? In states like Texas and Florida and California, if someone is an official write-in candidate, you can write their name on the ballot, and your vote will count for that person. That person will get a vote. But it doesn't always work for that candidate. If that person was like, I'm not going to file any paperwork, I don't have any supporters, and I'm just going to write my name for no reason on the ballot, then in most states that vote just wouldn't be counted because you didn't file the paperwork, you don't have the support. There are rules for these things. In New Hampshire, or in Oregon, or in New Jersey, apparently, you can write in whoever you want and that vote will count, but it just doesn't work like that in the majority of states. And then there are just a couple states, I think there's about 5 or 7, where if you just write in a candidate for any reason, it just won't count. You gotta have the things on the thing.
My next door neighbor, who lives in like a scrapyard, basically, I think, in an RV, he got enough signatures that he was on like the ballot or whatever for mayor.
Ooh, good for him.
You could probably hear him earlier in the Animal Crossing video I recorded earlier. He was like shouting outside. So he was up for mayor, I believe. He did not win somehow, but he was on the ballot because of the signature.
I'm really curious. I'm going to look up, and I know your state. How many signatures to get on your state?
It was Providence, Rhode Island.
2 million signatures.
2 million? Wait, what?
2 million signatures
for mayor?
in your state. Yep.
In Providence, Rhode Island?
For mayor.
Is that true?
Yeah.
Or just in Rhode Island?
I'm afraid so.
Providence, Rhode Island?
In Providence.
What? I wonder if he's outside right now. Maybe I'll ask him.
A rap.
Huh? What'd you say?
I was a bastard orphan, son of a whore and a Scotsman, dropped in the middle of a forgotten spot in the Caribbean by Providence impoverished, run for the mayor.
Why are you doing Hamilton now?
Because it says in Providence, impoverished, and I just thought, and I just feel like you could turn that into a rap about your neighbor.
Let me...
Something, run for a mayor.
That's true. Let me look out the window and see if he's out the window right now. Watch the neighbor out the window. I don't see him out there. Probably if he was out there, I would hear him raving. He's not crazy or anything. He just likes to talk to people out on the street. Very talkative, and he doesn't wear a mask sometimes. So I'm like, go the fuck inside.
Absolutely. I think this is a good place to end the episode.
Okay. And then we'll
you need. Actually, I made a mistake. One thing before we go, I did make a mistake. I misread the number of signatures you need to make. It's actually around 14 million.
That's more, right? You said 2 million before?
I said 1 million, but 14 million.
Something's fucky then. I don't know. But yeah, all right.
Yeah, you need you need to become mayor of Providence. That's how many signatures you need.
I'll just put all that in a different, in like a separate unlisted video just to cut the time down a little bit and like link to it.